although at the time I felt that I was very betrayed by the God I loved, and I was a very religious child. Even at part of my youth, I thought I was going to become a nun. That wasn't going to be. But I realized much later in life that God had trained me to be who I am right now, to do what I'm doing. I had to walk in those shoes to be able to sit there and hold the hand of somebody that needs me right now. And to even be able to speak to all of you about who these folks really are. I've gotten to know, through knowing myself, my own inabilities in life and my abilities, that I'm just another person. I'll never be anybody important. I like not being important. I love being in my center. And some people find that kind of nutty, that anybody can love their job so much. Even my husband finds I'm kind of nuts sometimes that I love it so much. But I take great joy in going to work every day that I go. I just feel so blessed to be able to be there, to be able to care. Our center is something very unordinary, very contrary to many other charities. What it is and what we've always been is a self-help center. It's all about helping ourselves to become better people by helping each other. Our center currently is all volunteers. At some point, so my husband and I can retire, we will ultimately be hiring some people to come on board and keep the dream as it should be. One thing to note is that anybody that's looking for work at our place, it's always going to be minimum wage. We're going to try to always maintain that everything charitable that we do is to actually benefit the people there, not to become business. Because unfortunately that can happen with charities. Charities can become very professional, and we don't want that. You come into our center, we're not there to fix you. Is our primary goal always is just to keep you alive today, that tomorrow you might have a better chance. I refound my faith, but nobody could push that on me. When I was homeless, I survived because some good people in the community that came forward and helped me out here, there, in other words. And very eclectic crew. To the bikers that took me under their wing. They really did. It was amazing that these guys came along and spared me from a lot of misery I was going through. At that point, and I thank God for them, because at that point I had, this is hard to hear for some people, but I had been raped so many times I lost count. I don't want to know any of it anymore. I don't care about it. It doesn't hurt me anymore. But yes, it was a group of bikers that came along and lifted that little kid out of that gutter she was in, where so many people were hurting her. And it's though that I lived through those things, that I can look at my ladies that are in my center and know that they're real ladies. They're trapped in places, they're victims, and it's not always, as you hear up there in the community, that people choose to be homeless. That's ridiculous. None of us would choose that type of life. None of us. So having walked in those shoes, though, gives me that ability to look with love at that lady and know she is a lady. And for me to say to each and every one of you, they are ladies. I'm going to give you a statistic from Health Canada. 76% of all prostitutes were molested as children. We're taught as Christians not to judge. And that's one really good reason for every one of us to sit back and think, the next time we see a girl out there working the streets, I want to give you another reality. 50% of prostitutes are women. Shocking that there's that many men out there prostituting as well. Why don't you see them? Men don't dress the part. These girls foolishly think that they need to make themselves up. to be noticed as prostitutes. But if you're a woman and you walk down Wyandotte Street near my center, almost any one of those guys looking for that type of thing, they're really not looking at the makeup, because they'll approach any one of us that happens to be in that neighborhood, because they're not looking for the makeup. It's a delusion those girls have. But sadly, too, most of those men that are working that way were molested as children as well. It's a very, very sad thing. So when that happens to you, you lose all your self-respect, your dignity. And we are trying to provide you all that back. So we're trying to provide you a place of love, a place where you feel you're part of the family, where food is put before you, clothing, hygiene products, winter boots when needed, winter coats, sleeping bags, all of these things important to your survival. So we're trying to put those things there for you, yes. And thank you, I saw your collection that you have going for our center out there. We are most grateful for that. But providing our service is also hopefully to educate people on both directions. When I was a homeless kid, I didn't know that there were some charities that would have helped me had I only known where to go. But I didn't. People not knowing my circumstance couldn't advise me. So we're there, we're trying to make sure people know about all the charities that exist. We welcome our doors to every religious group that wants to come in, because isn't that primary? You're presenting your love to my people. Bringing in that pot of soup. It's always fantastic. I have people that never ate sweet potatoes, for example, because it's healthy. But our church ladies and men walking in with their pots of soup and squash soups and things, but it's made with love. And so our people have been anxious to eat from those pots. And that's the greatest gift we can all give each other, is that love. You don't have to understand everything about me. You don't have to agree with everything about me or my charity. Recently, a lady came in and said, "You do too much for these people." And I said, we can never do enough. There is no such thing as too much. You can never give too much love. I don't believe a single word that the woman had to say to me that day, but I believe every word that I responded to her. I can never love enough, and I can never be loved enough. So when you get together as a congregation or as individuals, it's a beautiful thing, yes indeed, but what I want you to know, each and every one of those people out there in our center are people. They're somebody's children. They're definitely God's children. They definitely deserve your love. Even if he's an alcoholic, even if she's a drug addict, they still deserve our love and our care. And right now we're over 24 hours, because with this brutal winter that we've had, we just had to throw our doors open and stay that way. And remarkably, the people that run the center are the people that use the center. So our people that are keeping our doors open at night are homeless people. Our people that are working in our kitchen, for the most part, are homeless people. So they're very giving themselves, giving so much to each other. And they understand the component of love. So I can run on forever. I hope I'm not going past my time that I should be. No, my husband's saying I got a few more minutes. I have to keep looking at him, because I can carry on quite a bit.
An hour if you want.
He loves me dearly, by the way. I'm very, very grateful for that. Part of my childhood, I've touched upon that a little bit. I lived primarily with nuns. I was a children's aid kid. I basically don't have any grade school or high school. I have no diplomas, except I did go to St. Clair College to study cosmetology because I wanted to know how to put makeup on. Obviously, being raised with nuns, there was no makeup. So one of my foolish choices, and I discovered that I really don't like the stuff. It's terrible for your skin. It feels horrible when I have it on, so I don't like makeup at all. And I think that we actually all look better without it. It's very unhealthy for your skin, so I'd advise you not to go that route. Younger girls, stay away from makeup. But my studying was actually being homeless. That's where my education has all come from. I've been told I'm a very bright girl. I have a very high IQ. I did teach myself to read, although I didn't go to school. One of the nuns kindly taught me some mathematics. I have a little bit of that under my belt. But my greatest gift was from God in making me a homeless person. So I could walk in those shoes, so I could live that life, so I could understand it, so I could even rejoice still in the people that helped me. So I guess that's my message. You cannot love enough. You will never be able to love enough. Keep spreading your love. Spread it like Jesus did when Jesus went among the lepers. When I was a very young child, I didn't understand that part. Like, why would he do that? He could risk getting sick. But Jesus showed us that that's love. And the love shielded him, as it does each and every one of us. So thank you for loving my center. Thank you for having me. And please keep loving. It's what I believe that we have to keep doing. And I direct as much at me too as you can, because I really love to be loved. So thank you again for having me.